Hello beautiful souls, my name is Hayley and this is Divinity Tarot and Tea. I'll be having a cup of tea during this reading as tarot and tea go so well together. So grab a drink of your choice, get comfy and join me as we spill the tea together on your current love situation. So let's get started. So I'm going to be looking at the current energy between you and your person for the last 24 hours. And that's 24 hours from when you find this reading, so that could be at any point. So I'm using the Awakened Soul Oracle here. And in the first position is your person's current thoughts and feelings on the situation. And we have boundaries. So I feel like there's a need for your person to create boundaries in their situation. So we'll take a closer look at that. I'm using the Gilded Tarot deck today. We have Strength. It's interesting because I've had that Britney Spears song in my head today, Stronger. So as soon as I saw the Strength card come out, it's like, you know, your masculine is taken on this energy of strength today and setting boundaries. Like, I'm not taking your shiz anymore, you know? I'm not putting up with it. I'm stronger than I was before. We have Six of Swords in the reverse position. So yeah, there's definitely turbulent energies around your person, troubled waters that they need to remove themselves from. They need to take that energy of strength a step further. You know, not just set boundaries, but actually, you know, walk completely away from the situation. But, you know, I guess outlining boundaries is the first step, you know, as long as they stick to it. Boom. Tower. Tower is coming. So, you know, this may look like a tentative first step. You know, they're drawing the boundary line. But, you know, once those karmic entities that are holding them back cross that line, boom. Boom goes the tower. So it's coming because we know that the karmic will cross that line. That's what the karmic does. They'll test out those boundaries. Oh, you don't really mean it. Not me. You know, not you. You're the weak one. So in the second position for your masculine, is any advice from spirit or any further energy? And we have rebirth. And I feel like that's a rebirth of your masculine's total energy. It's like he's had a complete makeover of his energy. So I'm not that weak person that I was yesterday. I'm stronger now. I have a complete new way of looking at things, so watch out. And, you know, your person's karmic, they're not going to be expecting that. We have the Star in the reverse position. Your person knows that the situation that they're in right now cannot be sustained for much longer. It's not the path that they're meant to be on. It's not their soul's purpose. They are quite aware of that. It's like, you know, their vibration, their frequency is raised to a point now where they've completely outgrown this situation. They've completely outgrown whatever it was that they were doing, that lifestyle, those dreams that they had with that karmic. And they've outgrown those karmic entities that have been around them. And they are fully aware of this. It just doesn't resonate anymore. And we have the Nine of Wands in the reverse position. And that is overcoming those obstacles. Overcoming those blockages. Overcoming whatever was holding him back. And that's his new energy. His newfound strength that's shining through today. And we can see that this person here in the armor is wearing red. I just noticed that, and you know, that strength is coming from the root chakra. And so this is happening in the physical. I feel like your person has been in their head a lot over this situation, you know, a lot of mental anguish going back and forth, back and forth. But finally they're stepping into actually doing something real. Actually doing something physical about it. We have the Two of Pentacles. Yeah. It's like there's two paths and one has to go. It's just really as simple as that. One path is holding him back. And one path takes him forward into the future. And you can see there's a ship behind him. And you know, that's that journey that he could take if he steps onto this new path. And all he has to do to get onto that new path is to drop what was holding him back. It's like he's right there. He's right there. He's about to do it. So we'll take a look at your energy as it stands in the last 24 hours. We have wisdom. Yeah. I feel like you are a battle-hardened warrior. You know, you've been through a lot of experiences, and with that comes wisdom. And, you know, you could have chosen to walk away. For most people, this would have been just far too difficult. You know, most people would have said, why would you take this from him? You know, why would you put up with this? Why would you go through this? Why would you sit there waiting? You know, clearly he's not coming to you. He's chosen the other person, whatever. But you had an inner knowing. You were relying on your intuition this whole time. And that comes from years of, you know, you've been through every situation. And, you know, it's the wisdom that you've gained along the way from the lessons that you've learned has made you stronger. And it's made your intuition stronger. We have the Queen of Swords. And, you know, just like your person has set boundaries, you are mirroring that. You've also set boundaries. You know, to other people it may look like, oh, you're just letting them do whatever they want, you know, but you actually do have boundaries. You have a lot of dignity and self-respect. Yeah, that's what people don't realise. Is that you know your worth, but you also know that this is your divine masculine. And you don't want to settle for anything less than that. And that is your boundary that you've set. Because your divine masculine is everything you've ever wanted. It's everything you've ever known was coming to you, and that was that intuition that's been talking to you your whole life. saying, hang on in there, your Prince Charming is coming. Your happily ever after will come. And you've just been quietly waiting for this. And look, it is coming. You know, that tower is coming. And it is your calling. This is your destiny. You see this angel blowing the trumpet. That is your calling, and it's so loud. And you've been hearing it your whole life. You've been waiting for this. You always knew, you know, despite all the crappy relationships that you've been through and, you know, all the reasons not to believe in love anymore, you always did. You still always believed in love because you always knew, you trusted your intuition that this was coming. Gaia. And, you know, that is that divine feminine. You always knew that you were the divine feminine. That you had a purpose here in this incarnation. You had a soul's purpose. You had an agreement to come here to help out the collective. And part of that was to be the divine feminine, to be part of a twin flame journey, to go through that awakening, to raise your frequency, to help the collective. We have the Page of Cups in the reverse position. You know, to everyone else this could look like, this, you know, doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense on the 3D. You know, this didn't happen and that box wasn't ticked and, you know, this thing didn't do that, and so that's not how things are meant to go. But you knew all along, energetically, that this was much bigger, much deeper. That this wasn't just a Page of Cups. That this was going to turn into a Knight of Cups and then eventually a King of Cups and then eventually the Emperor. That's what you've seen. You've read the energy on this all along. You're not picking up the cues on the 3D, because on the 3D, yeah, it doesn't make sense. On the 3D, he is just the Page of Cups. We have the Four of Cups. Yeah, you can't go back now. That's the thing, is that you couldn't go back now anyway, even if you tried. You know, the thought of giving this up and like going back into the dating scene and, you know, dating someone else, you know, you couldn't do it now. You will not settle for anything less than your other half. You will not settle for anything less than your divine counterpart. You can't. We have the Emperor in reverse. And that is the Emperor that's waiting in the wings. You know, to everyone else it looks like he's just the Page of Cups right now. But you know that he is the Emperor waiting in the wings. That's the energy that you've been reading the whole time. You know that he is your divine masculine. And so we will look at the mutual energy to see what's going to happen going forward. What is the energy moving forward, Spirit? We have treasure. And that is that treasure you know, the abundance that you always knew was coming. You know, if you're anything like me, when I was a little girl, I spent my time reading fairy tales and constantly dreaming about meeting my Prince Charming and playing with my Barbie dolls and, you know, playing out that beautiful love story where they end up being together. They end up getting married and living that happily ever after. And, you know, I had every reason in the world not to believe in love after everything that I'd been through. But I always knew, you know, you just couldn't shake that out of me. I always knew. I always knew that my Prince Charming would come. And I feel like a lot of you resonate with that as well. We have the Four of Pentacles. So I'm feeling like there was a lot of blockages, a lot of obstacles that stood between the two of you. And going forward, moving forward, those obstacles are being cleared. And, you know, we see the Tower here. They're going to be cleared one way or another. We have the Seven of Pentacles, and that's, you know, reaping your harvest. This is what you've been waiting for. Reaping what has been sown. Those seeds that were planted a long time ago are now grown and ripe and ready to be picked. It's ready, you know, we're right there. It's just, you know, one more step clicks into place. And if your masculine doesn't choose to do it, well, the universe will. That Tower's coming one way or another. We have the World in the reverse position. And, you know, this is your cycle coming around. This is coming into completion. You know, you've gone through this whole process of waiting and healing and awakening, and, you know, everyone around you might think you're completely crazy and that you should have given up. But you always knew this was coming. You never faltered in your trust. And so I feel so untouched by the Veronicas. And that's that yearning that is between the two of you. You know, wanting to feel that physical touch, needing to be in that embrace together. And, you know, it will come. That Tower is coming, and then, you know, there could be some downtime after that, some repairing that needs to take place. But eventually this is going to come together, and you know that anyway. Like, I'm preaching to the awakened. You already know. So I'm going to finish up with a tea leaf reading here. And we're going to look into the cup. And I've got a giraffe. Like, I had a giraffe the other day in my cup, and I'm like, my God, that's the first time I've ever had a giraffe in my cup. But would you look at that? Like, that's definitely a giraffe. I can't see it any other way. And that's looking at it from a higher place. You know, the people around you, they're looking at it from the ground floor. But you're looking at it from a higher perspective. You know, you've known this all along. And I can see a giant bat here, and that's that transformation energy. And again, it's looking at it from a completely different perspective. So when the bat is sleeping, they hang upside down. And when they're flying, they're the right way up. And it's that change of perspective. And that's what you've been doing, you know, this whole time, that trusting in this whole thing, because you've seen it from a completely different perspective that anyone around you wouldn't possibly be able to understand. And I'm seeing a T-Rex down here, and I feel like that's that, you know, there's some really crazy energy going on in your person's home at the moment, that they need to clear that energy. They need to get themselves away from that. They need to find that strength. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of fighting, a lot of turmoil, a lot of crazy energy that they need to escape from. And if they don't choose to do it themselves, then boom, the universe will. That tower's coming one way or another. So I'm going to leave that there, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment if you feel inclined, and share it to your friends. And I send you all so much love and joy on your path. Take care now. Bye.